This is Zach. Zach's amazing. He knows that he's made in the image of God. He knows that God loves him. He knows that God is pleased with him. And these thoughts make Zach feel confident and secure and happy. Look at that huge smile. Wow. Oh no. Look who's coming. Here comes trouble. These two are thoughts that are opposite to what God says is true. They like to make up things that are not true, but they make Zach think that they are true. Not many people like you. And then he fires it like a dart into Zachary's mind. God's not real. And then she fires it like a dart into Zachary's mind. You're not good at anything. And then he fires it like a dart into Zachary's mind. Zach listens to what they say. Zach feels confused. Zach now feels nervous. Zach now feels rejected by his friends. Zach now feels like he's not good enough. Oh man, look at Zach now. His smile's gone. So what just happened to Zachary? Zach is somebody that follows Jesus. He's decided to follow Jesus and trust him, and he knows that God loves him and God is pleased with him because of everything that Jesus has done, and that helps Zachy to feel confident and secure and happy. At the end of the video, that had all changed. Zach was feeling confused. He was feeling rejected by his friends. He was even thinking, is God real? And that in turn made him feel really sad and unhappy and negative. And that can happen to all of us from time to time. So what can we do about that? Well, what we can do is look at the Bible and see what that says. And we've been looking in 1 Thessalonians, haven't we, recently? And today we're still looking in 1 Thessalonians, but we're looking at a verse in chapter 5, verse 8. And it says that we must wear faith and love as a breastplate, and our hope of salvation as a helmet. And all those words sound a little bit strange, and we can think, what does that mean? So let's think about what that means. To start with, God knows us better than anybody else knows us. He knows us better than we know ourselves. He knows us better than our parents or our best friends. And he knows that we're not perfect. He knows that we have weaknesses, and one of those is that we can think things and then we believe those things, and they make us feel, it affects how we feel. It's like there's a direct line from our mind to our heart. So we think something and then we feel something, and that's what was happening to Zachary. He was thinking, he had good thoughts in his head which made him feel great, and then another thought came in which was actually a lie, and he became confused and sad. So there's like a link from our thinking to how we feel. And because of that, God understands, and he doesn't just leave us to cope by ourselves or sort it out ourselves, but he gives us things to help us. So in this verse, we heard about a breastplate which covers our heart and protects our heart and our emotions and feelings. And we heard about a helmet which we can put on our head, and it protects our mind and helps to stop bad thoughts coming in, or it helps us to distinguish those. So when it talks about the breastplate, it spoke about putting on faith and hope. So two things. Imagine your breastplate is made of two strong materials like metal and stone, for example. It's going to make it really strong. Well, this Bible verse spoke about two things as well, but they're not physical materials, they're faith and hope. And they make our breastplate really strong. So what is faith? Well, faith is a bit like trust. So we trust our parents, don't we? Or whoever looks after us. We trust that they're going to give us food. We're going to have some breakfast in the morning. We're going to have some food when we come home from school. We trust that when we go to school, and then at the end of the day, we trust that our parents are going to come and collect us. We trust that our parents will help us when we need some help. And these are all like having faith in our parents. And it's the same with God. We can trust God that he's going to help us. We can put our faith in God that he's going to help us. And more importantly, we can put our faith in God that he has already helped us, that Jesus has already helped us. Particularly, that we know that we're not good enough. We know that God looks at us and he can see we're not good enough, we're not perfect. But we remember that Jesus is good enough and Jesus is perfect. So we put our faith in Jesus, that if we follow him and trust him, God will also look at us and say, it's okay, you're good enough, you're perfect, because you follow Jesus. So that's faith. We trust Jesus, that because he's good enough, we're good enough when we follow him. And what about love? Well, love is just believing and trusting that God always loves us no matter what. No matter what we do, no matter what mistakes we make or how often we make mistakes, God will always love us. He will always love us no matter what. And that can give us security. So Zach, come over here. So we made Zach this breastplate just for a demonstration. So this breastplate is made of faith and love, trusting in Jesus and remembering that God loves us no matter what. The other one was the helmet, wasn't it? The helmet of salvation, the hope of salvation. And that is just trusting that Jesus has saved us, that he's taken us from the place where we're totally separated from God, not friends with God because we do things wrong, because we're not perfect. And he's brought us back to be best friends with God because he's perfect and we trust him as being perfect, which makes us perfect. So we are saved, we are rescued. Thank you, Zaki. And that helmet helps stop those thoughts coming into our head because we're protected by that helmet of salvation. So how do we actually put those on? All we need to do is to just declare those things. We believe and declare those things. So we say, Jesus, I remember that you rescued me. Jesus, I remember that I was not friends with God, but you made a way for me to be friends with God by dying on the cross. And Jesus, I put my faith and my trust in you. Even though I'm not good enough, even though I make mistakes, you're perfect. And I trust that if I follow you, God looks at me and says, yeah, you're perfect as well. So let's try and do that. So maybe when we wake up in the morning and through the day, just keep thinking in our minds, I trust Jesus, I follow Jesus, God loves me. And that will put on that helmet and put on that breastplate that protects our mind from thoughts and our hearts from those negative feelings. Let's do that today.